Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew James. I am with Ingram Micro's SDNS Solutions Design and Service Department. I am our HP Aruba lead. I have our two technical account managers here with us today, Jeff Swetland and Brandon Atchley. We are going to do a talk on Instant-On, mostly just me talking here, and we're going to go over features, important things, and why it is good for SMB. Go over our agenda real quick. I'll do a brief overview of some of the features and get a little more later on. We'll go through a product lineup of some of our models, not all of them today, just because there's quite a few to go through now. Do a recap of the important features and why it's great for SMB. Go through some questions, anything that isn't answered in the chat, or read some of the good questions out loud. Go over some of our upcoming webinars from HP that'll be going on. And then we're going to talk to you about Aruba Action, a program that goes great with this Instant-On push and can really help push the product. So Instant-On is a product that came into a new world where we have a huge push for everyone doing everything wirelessly with so many more devices. When we had the huge push to work from home, the switch from being in a regular office to many offices in various locations, and suddenly we had a lot more devices that needed to be connected wirelessly. Well, a lot of SMB and smaller business in general just had an issue where that's a lot to put on their budget. They didn't have the IT staff. They didn't have these products in place. So there needs to be a solution for them because they can't fall behind. They've got to stay with it and they've got to be able to keep going because most places run on their small businesses locally. So in comes something like Instant-On where they can have that option and they can really get in there with lower IT and it can help them deal with some of these issues. So let's get into what Instant-On can do to help them get through this huge increase in wireless. Instant-On is a very simple solution. It is meant for any one of us, even anybody here today could just pick it up and start using it. It's very straightforward. It runs through a phone app. It's very easy to manage, all on one single pane of glass. It is very simple all the way down to just basically clicking little buttons and drop downs in a menu for your basic. And it has a little bit more in there too if you want to get a little more in depth. But remember, this is SMB, so it's not going to be anything crazy. But it does make it easy to see everything on your network, be able to update your firmware without having to go into individual devices. And of course, it's cloud-based, so you can manage it anywhere, making it great for any of these little SMB shops that are set up, whether they have one or two locations and they just can't always get out to all of them. This makes it great for them because they don't have to go and actually send someone out there. They don't need an IT guy at every location. Helps to save them a lot of money, helps to make them still be able to be a viable business. So let's get into a few of our products. This is the full lineup, starting all the way down at our entry with the AP11 all the way up to our AP25. The biggest thing that we're going to do to know when you move to a different one is going to just simply be how many users do you have in an environment. Now, of course, we could get into all the speeds and feeds and everything like that and get real technical, but that's not what we're here to do today. We're just going to talk on the high level of why you want to use Instant-On. So just know that when you're looking at this, the biggest change is going from how many users, about 50 at our bottom, up to around 100 at our top. And of course, we also have our outdoor options and desktop mounted options, which still fall in the same category, but hey, it just means we can also get some of those new outdoor seating areas, which became a lot more popular after COVID. So it's a nice option to have. One of the ones I like to call out is the AP11, AP11D specifically. The desktop mounted option has the 4 ports on it, 3 downlink and 1 uplink port, which makes it real nice to set up anywhere where you have to have some devices plugged in with an Ethernet cable, while some other devices will still be on Wi-Fi. Not every POS device or things like that around are going to be able to plug in through Wi-Fi, so a lot of them are going to still need that Ethernet cable. Especially if you're running older equipment, maybe you don't have the money to upgrade. This makes a nice option to put in a little small office, home office situation, or a small shop front, wherever you might be. The AP11D is a great option for that. You still get Wi-Fi 5 on there, so you got some decent speeds, no huge loss on anything. And of course, it's an Aruba product, so you still have that well-known name in the industry, all backing it up. It's a nice little cheap option. And right now, it is the one part of our Aruba Action Program that they will be giving out with that, which we'll talk about later on. AP22, this is probably one we see quite often. It's kind of our good middle ground for everything when it comes to instant on. It's got a lot of speed to it. Still not too high end, or our AP25 takes that top spot, but the AP22 is a nice middle one that covers a wide range of use cases, looking at anything from retail stores up to smaller, think like urgent care centers. This thing will go great in one of those situations, being able to handle a decent amount of users, getting to that Wi-Fi 6 certified, being able to handle a bit more throughput. Because of that throughput, this puts this one sitting around 75 or so recommended devices. Obviously, you're pushing the higher limits. You might want to look at the other one, but it's a nice little one right in between. Funny enough, this is one I've actually recommended to other people I know, and I know firsthand that this is very nice AP, good coverage, easy to set up, great for both home use and business use. All right, so the AP25 is our latest in the series. The AP25 is almost at the point where it's starting to be a little bit of a blur between where we get into our mainstream APs and SMB. But because it's in that instant con category, we keep it nice in the price range. Still got that easy cloud management app, still fast setup. Everything's right on here. We still have, what we add on to that is that we have a lot more ability to have a lot more devices on here with the increased number of streams available, letting this really cover something like almost right on the edge of like a medium to large business, because we can have so many users. Looking at about 100 users on average for this one, and this really can look at larger restaurants or expanding restaurants. And you have things like hotels, like you have more local hotels and motels popping up like that. This can really help with that. And just to go a little more into some of the use cases. So a lot of places, because they have gone to a more hybrid style, they have started hiring people all over. But a lot of times, because they are hybrid rather than full work from home, they still want places for those people to come, meet, and get together. Well, one of the options to set up some more smaller offices, they're going to need to now have wireless connection. They're going to need to have ways to get all their devices hooked up and managed and everything like that. But they might not necessarily have an IT guy around. So if they don't have an IT guy in that area, it makes it a little more difficult to get that set up, because you don't want to fly your IT guy out to a different location all the time. Well, with the Instant On series, you have your cloud management, and you can manage your site from anywhere, right from a phone app or the desktop. And then you don't have to send anybody out there, making it super simple and easy to use. Same thing goes for hotels and anything in the hospitality. There's a lot of small bread and breakfast, things like that pop up here and there, and they don't have the giant infrastructure to handle, full mainstream APs. They don't need that sort of thing. They just need something in between. But they still want to have the speed and the quality and everything like that for their guests. So the AP25 comes in, makes a really good option for them, as well as the other APs. You're not limited to the 25 on these use cases. It just happens to be the 25 can handle that higher density. Now, another one, a little more for home use, but also we have a lot more competitive gaming and things like that being set up at convention centers and some things like that. If it's a smaller setup and it's not something like huge, tons of people, something more local, but they still need to have decent connection, you could throw an AP25 in there. And the other thing to remember with any of these is they can also act as a small router, but more like a home use router. I'd say small office, home office, what you want to think if you want to think of any of the Instant On as a router. All right, so here's our full line card. Now don't get too lost in the specs or anything like that. I don't want you to worry about that too much. Two things I really like you to look at on this slide are just look at the sheer number of use cases that these can cover. This is an SMB category AP, but it is a very robust SMB AP. It can go anywhere from your small office, home office, all the way up to looking at professional offices and tech startups. It's huge. This thing can cover so many different use cases. Instant On is something that was really a good fit, especially with their latest update. They can now handle up from, it used to be 25 of these devices on a site, up to 50 now of these APs or switches on a site. That makes this even more expansive and cover even more things, even more customers you can bring in and build that business. And of course, always keep an eye on your recommended users. That's really how we want to size or look at things if we're talking to customers, or that's the best way to help place them, so you don't have to worry about all of that technical information down there. You can focus on that user count. All right, so let's get into a little bit more of the why Instant On over other SMB products in the category. One of the things that I really love about Instant On that is a cool feature is the Smart Mesh feature. So when you're setting up APs and you have to go in and you have to configure all of them one by one, that takes a lot out of your IT guy's day. He's going to be doing that, setting up everything. Well, what if you could just take your first AP, hook it up to your switch, set it up, and then all of your other APs as they come online could just bounce off that AP, expanding your network much more quickly and easier. Smart Mesh lets you do that. This all comes built into Instant On. No license is added. Any of the features you see here on Instant On in general are no additional licenses. You get the ability to look through the app to see inside your network, to see what's going on, to get detailed information about where you're maybe having gaps, issues, or higher usage in areas, all built in. It also has basic wireless security built in, so you don't have to worry about too much in that. So it's good for small business setups because a lot of them aren't going to have a lot of more of that security appliances and things like that set up, because they don't really need to look at those higher end things right now. They may have maybe 10, 20 people in a day. They can't have that. They don't have that in their budget to have something crazy. So this puts that built in for them. And because it's HPE, as always, we have support on just about everything because it's something we're well known for. And Instant On is no exception. It includes 2 years in base, and we'll go over a little more of the support later on. So the Instant On mobile app, like I said, is just either on your phone or on a desktop. Super simple, easy to use, and we're going to have a demo on that in a later session where you'll actually get to see it in action, just how easy it is to bring up and put together. Right from this screen is where you're going to do your Smart Mesh setup, where you're going to do any of your automation, where you're going to make this so it gives you the information you want, and it makes it easy for you to find anything that you need based on how you set up your portal. You also have the ability to set up your guest pages, because more than likely you're going to have a guest Wi-Fi and guest network on here, because you're probably running this and using the Wi-Fi, not just for your own business, but for customers coming in. It's a pretty normal thing for people to go to a store these days and expect there to be a free Wi-Fi connection. So Instant On makes that easy, lets you customize your page. Super easy for them to log in. All right, so we have, what comes with these is a 2-year warranty included, no extra cost, next business day parts. We have our 90 days of phone support and chat support for the full 2 years, and then software for the first 90 days as well. And that comes at no cost to the customer. It's on every one of our APs. And we also have options to uplift from there for both 3 and 5 year. We just have the 3 on here. If they uplift to the 3 year, they do get all of that, the next business day, the phone support, chat, and software support for the full 3 years. So we'll uplift everything. It does give, it's very nice. It's not expensive at all when you throw that on there. It's a nice little option for customers who need that extra support, maybe because they just have maybe one IT guy around and they got to be careful. So they do have that added uplift, which is a nice feature. All right, so just to recap, why you want Aruba Instant On? Well, it's easy, it's simple. Any one of us here, I guarantee, could pick up an Instant On, start working on it. You don't need to be super technical. You don't need to have any crazy networking background. It is something easy. If you've set up your home equipment before, like a home router, you can probably figure out Instant On, no problem. Security already on there. Security features, no extra fees, no licenses. That's the big key. A lot of other groups, SMBs and stuff like that, they will charge you for licenses. That's just not there, and we don't have to worry about that. Makes it super simple to manage, to check on, because Nobody likes to deal with renewing licenses ever. There's no loss of performance. Most of these instant on APs have very similar, if not the same hardware as a lot of our mainstream ones. The difference is that the management is now more focused on what an SMB would use rather than having the wide range that, you know, an enterprise company might need, making it easy to use and cheaper. Of course, and then when we get to the later one, we also have switches thrown in there, so you can make this a full solution altogether. And of course, everybody knows the Aruba name at this point. You know that you're getting a product that's got a good name backing it. You know it's reliable. You know it's going to be there to help you out. On top of that, you'll hear a lot of SMB vendors in the same space, and their process is just buy a new one, not with Aruba Instant On. They're going to be there to support you. They got the warranty on it, that 2-year warranty plus the uplift options. They'll get you your new hardware, so you don't have to go through any messy process of go buying a new one. You'll just have it sent when you go and put in your ticket. Easy as that. Right. So just to go through some of our upcoming webinars, we do have an Edgeline Solutions coming in March. Instant On switching, the follow-up to this will be April 6th. We have our server family solutions on April 13th. And we have our Instant On Cloud Portal demo, which will be April 20th. It'll be run by John Bussart here from Ingram Micro Solution Center. You'll get a nice actual view of how Instant On works. And all of these will be at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I believe we'll be able to send out the signups to everybody in here after. All right. Don't know if we have any questions today, but take a look. Should have moved this over. All right, so if there's no questions, what we'll move into is our Aruba Action and go over a little bit of that. All right, so to complement our Aruba portfolio, Aruba Instant On portfolio specifically, is a program that was somewhat recently launched by Aruba to complement this for new partners jumping onto the program. This is for people who are just getting started, just getting their foot in the door with Aruba Instant On networking, brand new to it. And the idea is that signing up to this gives a little incentive to keep selling more of it. So when you're giving out Instant On, and it's something that's easy to give out, especially when you're working in that SMB space, why not have something that, you know, helps to encourage you to keep coming back to it? The idea with Aruba Action is that if you can give out the product and you sign up, that you get something in return on this. Let's see. Well, I think he was going to go through a sign up. So we do have, what this does give is a $100 credit for demo units for resale product for anyone who signs up. And Charlie, can we pause?
It would make the recording be 2 different recordings.
Oh my God, as I don't actually know what he was going to talk about.
That's okay, just.
Okay, the Aruba Action Program, one thing that is good about, let's see if he has a slide on what I would have talked about, because he has got things different from what I was going to talk about. So signing up for the program is very simple. It's just going to the website, filling out the location information.
Looks like Dave's offering to jump in.
Oh, Charlie, can we?
Yep, hang on. Hang on. Go ahead, Dave, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. I apologize for the slight confusion, folks. The presenter for this one was unable to attend.
And so my name's Dave Moretta. I run the Aruba channels specific to Ingram Micro. And, you know, some of these slides will talk through registration, but, you know, a lot of what I want to talk to is the why you want to be a part of Action. If you're already selling Instant On products, this is just a rewards program. So for every product you sell, you're going to start accumulating points. What's really nice about the program itself is once you register, Aruba starts auto calculating your sales. Ingram will send over point of sale data, and then Aruba will recognize those on the site. So if you use other vendors, they may ask you to upload invoices, show POs. With Aruba, it's nice. You don't have to do anything. It's really easy button style, where you will go on and see all of your past sales, all of your points accumulated. When you reach enough points, you'll get some free gear. And I think Matt may have mentioned it early on. When you sign up, you get $100 right off the bat. Just for signing up, you get $100 right off of an instant on gear. So that gets you an AP11 for free. I think I haven't looked at the list place recently. That should get you one of those for free. Or you can go all the way up to an AP25, take $100 off that, and get the best model we have in, you know, the portfolio. So must have, be a part of this program. If you're even selling, you know, occasional instant on, and don't have a, you know, see a big a number of sales today, it makes a good amount of sense, because there's no cost to join this program. So no cost, accumulate points automatically, get some free gear, and you get a free AP just for signing up. So I think it makes a lot of sense right there. I'm not following necessarily these slides, but registration's easy. You can, you know, put all your details in, takes about 5 minutes. If you need any help, Mike Herb with Ingram Micro, Dave Moretta, I can help. Easy peasy on registration, but I'd say do that right away. We can send you a link for that, but Ingram's happy to help you with that. And if there's any other slides you guys want to move towards them, I can take a peek. Yeah, I think this is just on registration. Really self-explanatory. And like I said, once you sign up, you get yourself a free AP or $100 off of an AP. And then you start accumulating points that gets you some of the bullet points that are referenced here. So it makes a ton of sense. It's really one of my favorite programs Aruba's ever come out with. Let us give you some free gear and sign up today.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, this is actually where more of the slides where I was looking to be, is that, yeah, the biggest thing here is think of it like a punch card at any store you go to. You get a certain number of a product and you get yourself something for free. And look at here, it's not too bad. You get an 1830 24 port switch or an AP11D. It's nice equipment to have on hand. Then there's a little more about signing up for that $100 towards a demo unit or the free AP. And of course, as I mentioned, Mike Erb and Stephanie Finucane, but Stephanie's going to be out for a bit, but Mike Erb is still a contact available for that.
Yep. Great. And it looks like there's a little more details on there. You'll see the link. So hopefully everybody will either jot that down, or you can get it on the resend. But that's an Ingram specific link, excuse me. And they'll be happy to help you with any kind of registration if you are using that link. And Mike Herb can help.
And then of course, just that everything instant on is eligible. There's no instant on that isn't. So it's just letting you know all of them that are on there. I don't believe we have any questions. So Charlie, I believe that is the end.
All right, great. Thanks for viewing this, guys. We'll be having this uploaded to our YouTube channel. Please see us for the included webinars and to further on the series. And we look forward to seeing you guys sell some instant on. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Matt.